J'ai jamais été un aventurier. À la base, j'ai choisi Sciences Po parce que j'osais pas me lancer dans le cinéma. J'aime bien l'adrénaline. J'aime bien me lancer dans des projets fous sans me poser de questions. Mais quand ça a commencé à parler de destination ou partir en troisième année d'échange, je me suis d'abord dit que j'allais rester chez moi, en Europe. Loin de Trump, loin des tensions géopolitiques. Puis j'ai pensé à ce que j'avais écrit dans ma lettre de motivation pour entrer à Sciences Po. Hollywood, le narratif américain. J'ai commencé à chercher un endroit où je pourrais vivre les États-Unis qui m'ont toujours fait rêver. Mais aussi ceux que je redoutais tant. Le Texas. Plus grand État après l'Alaska, le plus peuplé des États-Unis après la Californie. Désertique au sud, ravagé par les tornades au nord, partageant une frontière de plus de 2000 km avec le Mexique. C'est un État au cœur des tensions migratoires et des politiques comme le Wall érigé par Trump pour y faire face. Surnommé la Lone Star, l'étoile solitaire, anciennement espagnole, puis rattachée au Mexique en 1821. Puis prendre son indépendance et rester neutre pendant 10 ans, avant d'être finalement annexé par les États-Unis en 1845. C'est un État du Sud, par définition. Au passé sombre marqué par l'esclavage, puis par les lois de Jim Crow qui ont opprimé les citoyens afro-américains jusqu'au lutte des droits civiques. État conservateur, le Texas s'oppose toujours à l'avortement, défend la peine de mort, le port d'armes, en public et sans licence. Produisant presque 50% du pétrole du plus grand producteur du monde, le Texas est au cœur du système économique américain. Au cœur d'un système dominé par la voiture et son lobby. Au cœur du capitalisme. Ces dernières années, c'est l'arrivée de la tech, Google, Tesla, Apple, qui a transformé Austin en une nouvelle Silicon Valley. Les Waymo, taxis pilotés par l'IA, et les livreurs robots ont envahi la ville.
Frérot, on se fait courser par un truc de livraison là. Je reconnais.
Je le connais.
Attends, laisse passer pour moi, laisse passer.
Putain, c'est énorme. Vas-y, mec. Mon petit gars. Le mec, c'est une folie. Il est cheap, hein.
Ce qui était autrefois le centre culturel du Texas, avec sa scène musicale live, ses concerts et sa vibe artistique décalée, est progressivement remplacé par un monde corpo, au cœur de la skyline de downtown. D'où le slogan de la ville, Keep Austin Weird. Car au cœur de l'état du western, des cow-boys et du rodéo, Austin c'est l'OVNI.
You asked me why I think Trump is a good president. I was about to list the things that I think make Trump a good president. So,
Mais pourquoi avoir choisi le Texas ? UT, l'université du Texas à Austin. La meilleure école publique du Texas. Plus de 50 000 étudiants, des fonds dépassant les 20 milliards de dollars. C'est le campus à l'américaine par excellence. Des infrastructures sportives gigantesques, un stade de football universitaire de plus de 100 000 places, le 5e plus grand du monde. Pour voir jouer des étudiants en semi-pro. Comme ils disent ici, tout est plus grand au Texas. La merch, produits dérivés, t-shirts, pulls, aux couleurs du campus, est portée fièrement par tous les étudiants. Marcus, sous Polo UT, représente parfaitement cette dynamique. Il est dans ma majeure, mais il bosse surtout pour la com des équipes sportives de UT. C'est littéralement lui qui crée le soft power du campus.
can you tell me just where you're from, how long have you been at UT, all that stuff?
Yeah. So I'm from Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
So actually, like a suburb of Houston called Sugarland, to be specific.
Sugarland.
Yeah.
Like on some Willy Wonka shit.
Yeah, a lot of people make fun of it, like Candyland and all that stuff. But this is my 4th year at UT. I'm a senior, about to graduate.
Graduating again.
So a little bittersweet, but yeah, it's been a good time.
That's my final 2 weeks as well, so I'm kind of depressed as well.
RTF student, so got to take advantage of all the unique opportunities and classes here. Just took a script to screen class where we got to meet Matthew McConaughey. So,
That's sick. You actually got the class.
Yeah.
I want to have it so bad. How often did he like pull up to the class?
He only came once. But I mean, like we watched like exclusive interviews with him.
Okay,
like,
that's simple.
that was like our lab time. So yeah, like we had to sign like NDAs and everything.
That's crazy.
Because working with Texas Athletics as a videographer, that's really what takes up most of my time.
Yeah.
So like everything you see on social media, like the hype videos, the recaps, like even like branded content, which might not be as fun, but still has to get done.
Yeah.
Press conferences, like everything. The only sport I haven't shot is swimming.
There's like this French player who's really famous, Jean Marchand.
Yeah.
We actually met him, like we had like a fucking picture with him.
Like, we just casually have Olympians just like
yeah. And so what would you say is like the like recipe for the best like calm like hype video kind of?
Oh, the most important thing to a video is the flow. That's what a lot of people refer to it as. Maybe like other people will call it like the pacing.
Yeah.
Good music to establish that energy. Then like the best transition like is just a simple cut.
Texas A&M and Texas with so much at stake tonight in the Lone Star Showdown.
Mais il y a un autre ovni au Texas. Même aux yeux de UT, une université plutôt libérale par rapport aux normes d'ici. Pearl Street Co-op, la résidence coopérative où j'ai vécu pendant 2 semestres. Ici, on partage les repas, on fait des meetings 2 fois par semaine pour voter si une personne se fait renvoyer ou combien de litres d'alcool on doit acheter pour la prochaine soirée. Ce serait impossible de résumer l'aberration de cet endroit. L'odeur, déjà, mais surtout l'apocalypse localisé, selon un commentaire Google Maps. Alors j'ai préféré demander à certains de mes co-résidents en charge du lieu de vous expliquer Pearl.
My name is Joey. I'm 22 years old. I've lived here for 3 goddamn years. And I'm currently the treasurer and the board representative and also the president of College Houses.
Okay, so what do you do? Like, what's like the main thing you have to do as like treasurer?
As the treasurer, I keep track of all the money. As the board representative, I sit on the board of directors. As the president, I chair.
So you guys have meetings and stuff?
So many meetings. I go to 6 meetings a month, and some of them go longer than 3 hours.
I'm Riley. I've lived here. This is my 3rd year.
3rd year?
Yeah.
Last year, right?
Last year, yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I'm the director, which means that one of the things I do is I run house meetings, and I, make sure we're doing things according to the rules we've established for ourselves. Every member can vote or make a motion to spend some from budgets. Oftentimes we'll use it to like reserve a space for the party, or pass money for a new thing for the house. Yeah.
Yeah, because you told me you visited some people in France last year, right?
Yes, I went to Toulouse, and Paris, but I went all over Europe. I've met so many international friends here.
Okay, and that's all people you met here, right? Like the people that went like here
all
over
people
the years.
that lived here.
Could you explain maybe the labor system?
So everybody has chores to do, which can be like cooking, cleaning, and everybody gets the same amount of hours of chores they have to do.
Could you maybe explain as well, what if you don't do your labor, cards, red cards, yellow cards?
If you don't do your labor, we have an accountability system, a carding system. It's a little light public shaming, where you get a fine and a card saying that you missed your labor, and then you can either contest it at a house meeting if you're like, oh no, I shouldn't have been given this card, or you can just take it and pay the fine, or do makeup labor. And if you get a certain amount of cards for labor, it's like if you get 5 labor cards, you have a membership review where the house checks in with you and sees like, hey, did you just have a crazy week and that's why you didn't make it?
what were the like craziest people, like the ones you really like had trouble with, like with?
Let's see. We had this one girl named. She was a pathological liar. She told some people that she had cancer, and she told other people that she was pregnant. She told some people that she had like scoliosis and all these medical conditions. And she would knock on people's doors at like midnight and ask them to drive her to the hospital because it was an emergency. I was one of these people. She told me she was pregnant and had scoliosis. And then she told other people she had like an abortion or something. I don't know, or like ovary cancer, whatever. She was crazy, and then also got into a bunch of fights with people and assaulted someone, and then she got kicked out. She lasted 1 week.
So she's in the channel of like people that cannot like.
Yes,
enter the
you
house.
can find her in the banned list. Yeah,
Okay,
she's
fair
not
enough.
allowed back here.
Well, we had 2 members the year I moved in who ended up being up for like 5 or more membership reviews in their total time here. And so what she did is she actually started doing her labor after that point. And at the end of the semester, she was able to make a motion to say, hey, look, I finally got my act together. Will you guys please forgive me?
Yeah.
And so, you know, and I just, you know, I don't think there's a lot of other places where you have that sort of process out for kids.
True. Yeah. True. So one thing I wanted to know also was like, what is the like craziest shit you had to deal with, either during a party, either during like.
Ooh, I've got a lot of stories. I'm just trying to think about the ones I can legally talk about. That's the problem.
Right.
Okay, actually, this is my favorite story. Rico the Rooster.
Hey, I'll talk about the rooster. So I was here so over the summer,
2 girls, they saw a rooster on top of the radio station next to the co-op.
Oh, that one.
That one right there. There's
good.
a rooster on the roof. They went up, they got the rooster, and realized it was injured, so they put it in the cage underneath Bart's right here, and they took care of it for a few days.
and then at a certain point, it went missing. Then they went out of town.
And then eventually someone said they found a rooster wandering the streets of campus. And so we coordinated a pickup between them, and they brought it to a farm. And then the rooster was happily ever after. It was safe.
And I had called like an emergency meeting to name the rooster because I was like, oh, it's gonna be gone in a couple days.
And then the next morning, we found the rooster dead in the cage. It turns out there was a second rooster wandering the streets, and the first one had died.
What are the
And
odds? Like,
what are the odds? Why were there 2 roosters? I don't know.
We had chicken for dinner the night we had that meeting.
That's some crazy part of it.
Yeah.
But that reminds me of the meme. You know the
Yeah.
meme of like a rooster like on top of a house and there's like a screaming sound. I'll show
Yeah.
it to you.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like pretty much the same situation.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's literally that was Pearl Street this past summer.
How'd you like Pearl parties?
I love Pearl parties, man. The nightlife in Austin's insane, but I think Pearl like brings it a step higher, you know.
You say you want a revolution, well, you know, we all want to change the world.
C'est vrai que j'ai pas parlé des soirées à Pearl. Il y a une anecdote qui circule, aucune idée si elle est vraie ou pas. Comme quoi les Red Hot Chili Peppers, bien avant d'être connus, ont fait un concert pendant une soirée à Pearl. À savoir que jouer à Pearl, c'est considéré par beaucoup d'artistes comme un rite de passage à Austin. Et que c'est là donc qu'ils auraient goûté à la cocaïne pour la première fois. Dans notre cuisine. Pour payer les $800 de loyer à Pearl, je me suis dit qu'il fallait que je trouve un travail. Mais avec un visa étudiant au Texas, les seuls jobs que tu peux faire sont sur le campus. Alors j'ai décidé de flip the burgers, comme disent les Américains, et de travailler au dining hall de UT. Un genre de cruise géant. Dès mes premières heures en tant que travailleur là-bas, j'ai direct compris le côté industriel de la restauration américaine. Pour ceux qui ont vu la série Severance, c'est à peu près pareil. Des départements spécialisés, relativement aliénés les uns des autres, dans des espaces souterrains coupés de toute lumière extérieure. Côté service, les étudiants ont accès à un self, proposant un choix énorme de plats et de snacks, allant du salad bar au coin pizza, en passant par un petit déjeuner à l'américaine, des burritos et bien sûr des burgers. Mais pour résumer mon expérience au dining, je me suis dit que ce serait mieux de demander directement à mes collègues. Okay, so what's up, Andrew?
What's up?
Can you just tell me your age, where you're from?
I'm 19. I'm from Illinois, from a very small
Illinois.
town, and I moved here about 9 months ago.
Okay, because you're in California before, right?
Yeah, I was in California before, and I moved here for my dream of music, and I'm a musician here in Austin. Now I actually am employed here at the University Dining Hall.
My name's Jonas Garcia. I'm from California.
California.
34. I've been working here for University Texas at Austin for almost a year and 2 months.
Okay, right. And so what's your position here? What do you do with?
My position is a lead cook. I wake up at 3 a.m. because I live very far. So I get here at 5:30, and then I start setting up for breakfast and then lunch, and then I like it. So.
Do you think it's like how would you compare this job to like other jobs you've done before? Is it easier maybe or harder?
I think when it comes to Austin, UT is a great school, and UT employs a lot of jobs in this area. And I thought, well, if I worked at the dining hall, not only could I be interconnected with the students here so that I could, meet potential band members for my projects, but also that I could, establish myself and, there's a lot of benefits, I guess, to working in the food industry.
Yeah, for sure.
Like free food or like discounted things. I enjoy it a lot. Working with students is one of the easiest things.
I mean, for fine dining, you feed people, you feed the elite, poor people who can't afford it. And here I take pride of feeding students because they're the future of our country. So, I mean, you got to feed them regardless. So I take good pride in both aspects, doing fine dining or just working for the university.
Yeah, so I'm currently living in my van actually, and I started doing that in January. And I use the money I make here, and I pretty much put most of it into music, some of it into savings. But
yeah, right. Because you have a studio as well, like a music studio.
Exactly.
That's so cool.
Studio with my band, yeah.
And you use it with your band as well.
Yeah, exactly. So right now we're working on getting into our local scene here at UT. I'm networking with a couple local bands, and we're figuring out kind of how we can get onto somebody else's show, like as an opener, so that we can get our name out there. But,
for sure.
Right now we're just, playing open mics, and we're playing pop-up shows if we can.
Yeah,
so.
Because Austin is so good for that, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That music scene is like all over the place.
It's a great city.
I love it.
The food quality, it's just quite different.
Yeah.
So like food here is like a little bit more processed because we don't have the time or the capacity to do things from scratch. That being said, I kind of missed working on fine dining.
Yeah.
That's where I started working at fine dining, everything from scratch, everything locally sourced.
Yeah.
But I mean, it has a different flow, and I like it. I haven't done buffet style in a while, so.
Ces normes alimentaires différentes, cette surconsommation typiquement américaine, on la retrouve aussi en dehors du dining. J'aimerais déconstruire le mythe de l'Amérique des fast-food, sincèrement, mais ce serait malhonnête. Partout, à toute heure. À Austin, c'est autant un resto de quartier qu'une boulangerie entre deux cours. C'est vraiment en regardant leur clientèle que j'ai compris la place que les fast-food occupent. Des familles, des couples de retraités. Je me suis dit que j'allais aller les voir, histoire de comprendre un peu les dynamiques d'un système ancré depuis bien plus longtemps qu'en France. C'est comme ça que j'ai rencontré Kevin, qui cherchait un emploi à la chaîne de fast-food Petery's.
Oh, what's your name?
Man, they call me Kevin.
Kevin.
Yeah, I go by King though.
Okay, and so where are you from?
I'm from Austin.
Austin based, always
Always been Austin.
Born there?
Yeah, I'm not born here, but I'm been here 20 years. So.
Okay, 20 years.
My name is Larry Lindsay from Austin, Texas.
From here?
I lived here since 1982.
And so how often do you come at fast foods in general? How often do you eat per year?
Not very often.
Not very often.
I'm a limo driver.
Okay.
So sometimes I'll eat at a fast food when I don't have much time. Or,
Okay.
Just
When you're in a hurry,
when
when
I
you're...
have time for a good meal or something.
I don't eat too much fast food. I try to be healthy, but they got plant-based meals here, so it's really
You take
works
plant-based
out.
often, yeah?
Yeah, they do plant-based. I do plant-based diet. I do vegan on and off.
Yeah.
And then I like to do a lot of juicing.
Juicy?
Yeah, juicing like fruits and.
Okay, right. Where'd you buy them actually?
Just buy it at the HEB. They got HEB here.
Okay.
Regular grocery
Yeah,
store.
fair enough.
And just get some fruit.
And what's your favorite fast food in the US?
Probably Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. Oh yeah, I've had Chick-fil-A before. So more chicken oriented.
Chicken, yes.
And what do you think overall about the food industry in the US? Like, how healthy is it? How regulated it is? Maybe do you think it's like too much? It's kind of a trick question.
I would say that it's not. Look,
Yeah.
that's just my opinion, though.
Yeah.
Some of the food we don't know where it comes from, you know, and some of the food we don't know if it's really all the way healthy.
Yeah.
Because we don't have the background dialects on the fucking meat.
Yeah.
So,
That's true.
but I trust P. Terry's. That's why I eat here. I do trust P. Terry's.
Because I feel like Americans often they have like one favorite fast food and they stick to. Even though you guys have many different fast food,
We got a lot.
but often people they choose one. They're like, that's my favorite.
Nah, this is my favorite.
Yeah, me too. Actually, personally, that's my favorite as well.
Talking about it making me.
Because you didn't order yet.
Yeah, no.
Okay, we'll order one right after.
Every year that you hear on the news or something, you know, something is not healthy for you that
Yeah.
you've had all these years, you know. Well, of eggs, things like that, you know. And now I hear that's not too good for you.
Yeah.
Or
It's true that it changes.
Milk is not great, you know.
Yeah.
The top milk that you drink is not that good. So
Yeah.
I was raised on a meat potato diet for all my years.
Yeah.
And they say that's wrong. But I'm
It's true.
79 years old and pretty good health. Still active, you know. So
Yeah, true. Absolutely.
I can't change that part of my day.
Là, je suis avec Kevin. On va entamer notre Peter's. Alors, qu'est-ce qu'on a ici? Moi, j'ai pris un petit cheeseburger, boisson frite, tranquillement. Kevin, il a pris un truc eggplant, donc en gros, plant-based, c'est plant-based, right? Yeah. C'est que, un truc vegan, quoi. Et moi, j'ai pris mon petit cheese classique. Peter's, directement. Magnifique. On a la petite sauce classique. So yeah, I'm having it fresh a little bit.
This stuff is amazing.
Bro, they got a fat fry in the middle.
They put you 4 fries in one.
That's crazy. Have a nice meal though.
Absolutely.
Do you go to gym before? Like, do you go to the gym or?
Yeah, I'm about to start back. I got a pretty strict regimen too, so.
That's so cool though. Is that kind of like
alive?
It's like some Godfather shit. Like,
Ain't it?
I like the basketball team San Antonio Spurs.
Oh yeah.
Because that Wembanyama is like a French guy.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He's French.
Dude, everyone's so in love with that dude too. I'll tell y'all one story. So I was at a job and we were moving things, like we're a moving company. And so it wasn't even on the site or nothing like that. We were at the warehouse and this big ass black dude, he like slapped me. He slapped the shit out of me. I grabbed him by his shirt collar, pulled him towards me, and punched the living shit out of this man like 7 times, knocked him out, and let him fall, right? Then this other black dude came and was like, nigga, I want to hit you. I want to test you out too or whatever. I knocked his ass out too, and he was 230. Yeah, I was just angry that day.
I mean, I get that.
Y'all, this is my friend right here. This is the homie.
En regardant les zones où sont regroupés ces fast-foods, on voit clairement quelque chose qui va au-delà de la question de l'industrie alimentaire américaine. Zone commerciale, drive-thru, l'espace urbain américain est modelé par la voiture. On croirait voir une aire d'autoroute française, mais partout. Au Texas, le piéton n'est pas roi. Et les lieux de regroupement manquent cruellement. Alors comment créer l'unité dans un si grand pays ? Comment se regrouper autre part qu'en famille quand le transport, même en ville, se fait seul ? Alors pour lutter, on essaie de trouver du sens.
I think the biggest thing for me has been adjusting to being more okay with being alone, but in also the aspect that, you know, since I am now dependent on myself, that I need to work harder, and that is also made me happier in a way, because not only am I surviving by myself, but I'm also learning how to live and communicate with myself on levels that I never had to do that before.
Yeah.
So like, you know, whether it's paying bills or, you know, depending on myself to find work or to find, you know, anything vocational that I'm doing. It's a lot of just enjoying the process as well, you know?
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
I moved to Austin by myself from DC. I didn't have any friends. I didn't know anybody here, and it was very hard to like meet people. But moving in here gave me a community immediately and a lot of friends that I know all over the world, who I will know for probably the rest of my life.
I like our freedom, though. You know, and we just I think we're the best country in the world. But I'm just an old man.
Oh, do you feel like you're patriotic in the sense you think like
Very patriotic.
Patriotic?
Very patriotic. I was not in the military.
No. Okay.
But I was a professional baseball player.
Oh, that's really fun.
So that's how I missed the going to Vietnam.
Oh.
My wife just had a baby and stuff. You know?
Oh, right. Do you feel relieved that you didn't have like to participate in that?
Oh, I'm very glad I didn't have to go because
yeah,
I had a friend in college. He was drafted and sent to Vietnam.
He got killed?
Got killed in Vietnam. Hadn't been there.
And you knew him very well, right?
Knew him very well. Very well.
Okay, and so you talked a little bit about yourself, about you having faith, like a little bit.
Yeah.
How are you with that? When did you like kind of find yourself, I'd say?
I really found myself young. My mom tried to take me to school and like learn about God, and then I ran into the streets. But the whole time me being in the streets, I learned that God was helping me. So I really fell into life with him, knowing that he was saving me the whole time I was doing things I wasn't supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So imagine me do the right thing, and then now I'm doing better, like a lot better.
Okay, yeah, right.
So I know it's him.
But you don't feel like related to a certain kind of religion, like you don't want to be as like
it can't be religion, because if it was religion, if it was up to religion, I would have still been in the church doing churchly things.
Yeah, yeah.
But instead, I found God through the traumas in the street trials. Instead, I didn't find him in the church. I found him in the streets.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I feel that. I feel that. It's like kind of when you're your lowest, low key. That's where you kind of find. Yeah.
You build yourself up, not through your own strength, but through His and His word alone. That was a verse right there. So y'all.
That's so cool. À UT, on crée du lien à travers les organisations étudiantes et pour les plus chanceux et chanceuses, en rejoignant une fraternité ou une sororité. All right, Chris, what's up? So we're at your frat right now, right?
We are.
What's the name of the frat?
Phi Kappa Psi.
Maybe talk a little bit about like the frat system. How does it work? Like what's
I'm a part of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, which was founded in 1906.
1906.
So my frat is like we're a historically black fraternity.
Okay.
So it's a little different from what you probably think of when you think of Greek life at UT.
Yeah.
Okay, so the frat that we're here at today is called Phi Kappa Psi. It's one of the oldest chapters at the University of Texas at Austin. It was started in 1904, and the first chapter for the Phi Kappa Psi fraternity in Texas. So we were the first one.
How much do you have to pay for being in the frat?
It's not as much as like the Fiji types, but I mean like you still do have to pay a little bit. Honestly, ours I think it's not that bad compared to them.
Yeah, because I heard some crazy numbers about
but they also have like houses and everything, and like I mean we'll put on events, but like that stuff that's like a whole different ballpark. But
this building was built in 2017, I believe, and it's honestly fairly new. Oh, we gotta be careful about.
Oh shit.
It's the price and some of that.
Okay, my bad. And so what do you guys do? Like, what's the events? What's the?
Yeah, so like we'll do a lot of different programming throughout the semester, whether that's community service, step shows, and then like we'll throw parties.
We have a variety of different parties. Our biggest being Bermuda. I'd say that's our last party. You pretty much pull up. Dude, I sound so fraternal.
No, you can.
But no. So basically, we have Bermuda, which is a big send-off for the seniors.
Yeah.
What we'll do is you'll have a tuxedo top and then a bathing suit bottom. We've built a waterfall and then a volcano, and then we had a tiki hut that we turned into a bar.
And so what's the policy about boys getting in or like all that stuff in parties? Faut savoir que là, je faisais implicitement référence à une fois où j'ai manqué me faire tabasser à l'entrée d'une frat au début d'année, parce qu'ils laissent rentrer que les meufs pour pas avoir de concurrence. Et qu'en fait, le jour même, j'ai réalisé que c'était la frat de Chris quand on l'a visité.
No, I mean, it's complicated just because if you're outside, like any guy outside of the fraternity, they can be deemed as a threat to the main group, not because of like insecurity or intimidation, but like liability. If someone that we don't know we let into the party and they do something to a girl,
Oh yeah, right.
then the whole group is liable. We've now put everyone at risk.
Okay.
You know, we've also put our chapter at risk.
Do you have like some hazing? How do you call it? Hazing? Hazing?
Not hazing organizations. So.
Okay. Do you know if other frats are still doing hazing at UT or?
I mean,
it's supposed to be forbidden, right? But
yeah, like we can only like imagine. I don't know. I mean, technically, I guess everybody's like gotten rid of it. So.
And so about hazing, you told me like there was a sorority that used to haze. You guys, yeah, how is it with hazing? Like overall on campus, like is it still a thing like in frats or?
No.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Il y a un truc qui s'est passé cette année. Je savais pas comment l'aborder, mais c'était impossible pour moi de pas en parler. Sixth Street, la rue animée de Downtown, cœur de la nightlife d'Austin. C'est là où tous les étudiants sortent dans les bars, où on danse, on chante. Notre bar préféré à nous, c'était le Buford's. Des tables de billard, une estrade avec un DJ set, et surtout une ambiance particulièrement dansante pour les US qui nous rappelait l'Europe. On y a passé un semestre de minuit à 2h, les jeudis, les vendredis, les samedis, parfois les 3 jours de suite. Mais le 1er mars 2026, à 2h du matin, un homme a mis fin à cette innocence. 3 morts, 14 blessés. La majorité étaient étudiants à UT. Nous, je sais pas par quel miracle, c'est la seule fois du semestre où on n'y a pas été. Ironiquement, on était en road trip au Nouveau-Mexique, à tirer au milieu du désert. À exercer notre deuxième amendement, finalement. On avait beau savoir que les fusillades étaient monnaie courante aux US, que c'est quelque chose de bien plus normalisé qu'en Europe. Le voir arriver si près de nous, au point où on aurait pu en être les victimes si les choses s'étaient passées différemment. Ça fait réfléchir au prix de la liberté. Dans une société américaine plus clivée que jamais, le débat sur le port d'armes semble ne plus être au goût du jour. Républicains trumpistes d'un côté, démocrates désabusés de l'autre. Le fossé entre les deux camps s'élargit au fil des polémiques et des mesures inédites prises par l'administration. Alors, dans un pays où le dialogue politique entre citoyens est déjà moins fréquent qu'en France, et où le pouvoir semble plus éloigné du peuple, qu'il le remet moins en question, j'ai quand même voulu entendre ce que les gens avaient à dire.
Trump administration, I mean, I think it's very straightforward what he wants. I think there's many ways to set things. I mean, if you want something or something, you gotta make everyone together to make it happen, not just creating different points of view and just dividing the society into 2 or 3 pieces, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit on the 50-50. Either I agree or I don't disagree. I'm like in the middle.
Depends on like,
I'm a no man's land, you know, when it comes to politics.
Yeah, like all that stuff.
Ooh, blah, blah. No, it's hard to say because it's very conflicting to get behind a president who's so controversial.
Yeah.
It's hard to separate the politics from the person because, you know, there's a lot of things he does that are quite debatable.
I'll keep it as respectful as possible, but I don't agree with anything that's going on in our country right now, and I'm hoping for some change really soon. So yeah.
Well, I'm more middle right leaning. I know there's a lot of animosity around like his way of executing like immigration and things like that. It's a very touchy subject for a lot of Americans because I know like, you know, this country was built on mass immigration and you know, fleeing religious persecution. So like we do understand that as Americans, but maybe the whole process and the inhumane aspects of his deportation process, that's not something a lot of us can get behind.
I'm a Republican, conservative, and I voted for Mr. Trump. And I want this common sense thing to be handled. The deals about men playing women's sports things of that nature.
Yeah.
There shouldn't even be a discussion. You know, all the Democrats that vote against that, I'm sure they have daughters, son over the play, and will be affected by that. But they'll go ahead and vote for it just to get the vote and get their party going. So those things bother me. I'm worried about the war. I was very glad when President Trump stopped the bombing.
The world is built on imperialism and colonialism, you know, taking over land and expanding your empire. That's not something we see a lot in today's age, and I feel like any person would be lying if they said they wouldn't want to see like their country expand or become greater or, you know, acquire resources. That's just how the economy works. And as an American, of course, we want to see like, you know, our society get built up over time. We want to acquire land. We want to get raw resources, raw materials. We want to continue being a world superpower, you know?
I think I think the co-op is a form of democracy that actually works. Yes, obviously we're a commune and we have we act sort of like communists, but at the end of the day, we are a democracy and so is America. But America is very corrupt and it's run by the people who have accumulated so much power and wealth that they're unstoppable. But in the co-op, you gain power by gaining trust and by doing work for the house, and then you get rewarded by being given responsibility. And that responsibility and power can be taken away in a single house meeting by one vote of the entire membership, which happened this past fall. Whereas in America, the people in power, it's extremely hard to remove them for being corrupt. And I think that system, despite this place being a complete shithole, that's why this place runs so well, despite it being just college students. You know, the people in power have to be good at their jobs and they have to care about what they do. It's not an ego thing. It's not just a power grab for money, because there's almost no money in it. It's the people who do that work. It's because they actually care about this place.
You know, my bro from France, you know, I love it, bro. Like, he's got the drip on. We all got the drip on. We expressing ourselves in equal ways. We are all equal.
Yeah, and
we
you feel
all
like
got
it's
one purpose, and that's to praise God. So love each other. That's it, and that's not hard.
I love that.
I
I
love
that,
him,
bro.
and I just met him. So let's put it on wax.
Bro.
Un an au Texas. Que retenir? Une nation divisée. De la violence. Un monde qui isole. À défaut de réunir. Mais en contemplant toute la beauté, on se dit que sous les décombres, une partie des US dont j'ai rêvé étant enfant